I'm Beverley Turner. I've got two children, Kiki, who is 4 months, and Croyd, who's nearly 6. And I've worked as a TV and radio presenter and a journalist for, oh God, too long, 10 years now. And I'm married to James Cracknell, who is best known perhaps for being a double Olympic medalist and all-round crazy adventurer man. People always said to me, oh, you'll be a parent, it'll change your life completely. And I said, no, it'll be fine. It won't affect me. I can just strap the kids on and go. And to some extent, that is how we've lived our life. But the change when you have children is so profound. It's enormous. I think especially for women today, because we live very selfish lives effectively, and we don't often have to think about anybody but ourselves. And we have been educated and have jobs that we love, and nobody can warn you about the change of having kids, the lack of spontaneity. You know, your husband comes home in the evening and you can't just say, let's go for a drink or let's go to the pub, because all of that takes planning and babysitting. When James said he was going to go away, obviously I was concerned because of the risks. At that point we had our little boy, but I was, newly pregnant with Kiki, and so it had to be a sensible decision, and it was really important to me that all of the safety precautions that could be taken were taken. I didn't realise actually that the biggest danger to James would be himself and how hard he pushed himself, which I only really realised when I watched the programme. But being at home, I was largely protected from how difficult it was for them out there. The BBC crew that occasionally followed them in the South Pole would ring back very sporadically and just say, he's alive, don't worry, it's okay, which was good to know, because I think if I'd known how hard it was out there, it would have been much more stressful. But as it was, being at home on your own, heavily pregnant with a 5-year-old is pretty stressful anyway, especially over Christmas, and seeing friends and families all have a great time together with their husbands, and being on my own was not easy. Ooh, missed. Got you. It was okay, we managed, but it was a very interesting insight into what it must be like to actually be a single mum, and I think it is just the hardest job in the world. Being a mum is the hardest job in the world anyway, and to do it on your own all the time must be a constant 24-hour-a-day challenge, because it's not just that there isn't another pair of hands there to help you do bath time or bedtime or to help with meals. It's just the emotional responsibility, especially if you've got a little boy, I think, because little boys really, really need their dads. Not necessarily a dad, a male figure. They need a male role model in their life. I strongly believe that. And Croyd is a very boisterous little boy, and definitely missed having James around, because even though I could sometimes do the trampoline and the wrestling when I was 7 months pregnant, there wasn't much chance of me doing trampolining or wrestling. So he really missed James and was very happy to have him back. I didn't know what I was having when I had Croyd or when I had Kiki, but secretly I really wanted a girl second time round, and I didn't say that, and everyone kept saying, what do you want? I don't mind, as long as it's well, as long as it's healthy, I don't mind. And then when I saw her and realised it was a girl, I was just so happy. I was in floods of tears. It was lovely to have a newborn in the house again, absolutely gorgeous, and they just smell so good. And seeing Croyd with her was lovely, but like a lot of new babies, she started to get quite colicky symptoms. This time I could identify it easier than I could with Croyd. With Croyd, when he had similar symptoms, it was really, really distressing and really upsetting. And it was with Kiki as well, to see a baby that you think has had enough to eat, that you think has had enough sleep, but you still can't calm them down, is awful. And it makes the family, the whole household stressed, and you're already sleep deprived. You and your partner, you're sleep deprived, you're worrying about a new baby, you're worrying about the impact of the new baby on any existing children that you might have. And if you can't cure the symptoms of the colic, everything just gets worse, because once that baby is calm and once that baby's gone to sleep, it's like the pressure in the room just lightens. And we tried something called Colief, which my midwife suggested that I use when Kiki had these symptoms of screwing her feet up and screwing her face up and crying and crying and crying. And I hadn't heard of it before, and I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And I was breastfeeding, and I could use it with the breast milk. You can express a bit of breast milk, mix a bit of Colief in with it, give her that in a bottle, and then give her the main feed. And because it contains lactase, which will help to identify whether the baby is lactose sensitive effectively, You can work out within the space of a week if that's what the problem is. And in those situations, you just want your baby to be calm. You will try anything. You know, it is one of those brilliant things that you can try. And within a week, Kiki was settled, and it was fantastic. And it meant that James and I had gone from shouting at each other and passing this baby between each other and walking around, shaking her about in the kitchen, and especially the witching hours between kind of 5 and 7 in the evening when real colicky babies just will not settle, and it's really, really stressful on everybody. Having a new baby is stressful anyway, but a baby with colic is 100 times worse. And she was great, and she settled down really well, and then she was on a combination of breast milk and formula, and I could use the Colief with both and sorted her right out. I've had so many conversations with my friends who are also mums who've had similar situations to me, and we've talked about the fact that when you have a baby with colic who won't calm down, they're in tears, and often you find yourself in tears as well. It's really, really stressful, and it's really upsetting, and you have this little thing that you love so much that you just want to be able to make happy, and you just want them to be able to calm down. You want them to get to sleep. You don't want them to be in any pain anymore, and it's really, really hard, and it puts enormous strain on your relationship with the father of your child is there, and he feels helpless as well, and often he wants to just make things better, and between you, you're trying so hard to make this gorgeous little baby be calm and happy and to stop crying, and it's really, really, really tough. So anything that you can try to give yourself a shot at having a peaceful baby is worth it, I think.